We're going to show how being a mom in Dubai who hasn't lost herself, although she has 4 kids, and this thing can be possible in 2025. How did your life progress, let's say, in your routine and also emotionally, from, let's say, the first 2 kids to having 4?
I have no idea, because having 1, he was the most awful child.
So let's say your kid has a fever or cough.
Garlic.
What do you do?
Right, if you've got fever, you're going to have to chew a whole piece of garlic after food. Otherwise, you're going to burn your stomach. But if they're young kids, they won't chew that. So you're going to have to slice it up and put it on their feet and then wrap them in cling film, put some socks on and put them to bed. I guarantee it breaks the fever.
How about how you feel when people consider you someone who doesn't work?
Yeah.
How about that?
This is a trigger, actually. I still struggle with that. And I find myself wanting to back away from that kind of discussion, maybe.
How you really create the, pave the way, create the path for a child to become self-sufficient, to be self-sufficient and to be who, to face challenges that life throws at us,
You've got to start young. As young as you can, as young as they're interested. Whether it be unloading the washing machine at 3 years old. I've got pictures, actually, of them unloading the dishwasher at like 3 or 2, helping me unload the dishwasher or unloading the washing. We started young.
Guys, I cannot believe it. We already reached almost 4K subscribers. I mean, to be honest, I don't know, it's a lot of work behind the scenes, lots of people working for this magical project. But you know what is funny? What is funny is that people don't really have a clear idea why are here. I'm talking about my guest. Anyway, it would be amazing to subscribe to the channel, because Between the Lines talks about every single human being who has reached tangible results, and it will explain why and how. Not like gimmicky stuff, not things that are not tangible, real lives. Today we have Jodie. Welcome. Hello. Jodie is, well, first of all, is an amazing friend and is an amazing mom of 4. And today we're going to show how being a mom in Dubai who hasn't lost herself, although she has 4 kids, and this thing can be possible in 2025. What do you think about it?
I think, how do we not lose ourselves? I don't know. How do I not lose myself? I think I've not lost myself. Keeping my feet on the ground is living with intention with the kids, being present, and not having any help maybe has been my feet on the ground part.
Oh my God, I can't wait to go there. But first of all, let the audience know who you are, where you come from, your family, wherever you feel like.
So my name is Jodie. I'm 44 years young. I'm from the UK, in Surrey, and I've lived in Dubai now for, this is our 15th year, so a long time.
15 years?
Yeah. We thought we'd come for like 5 years, maybe.
Right.
We'll just do 5 years. Mm-hmm. And 15 years later, we're still here. How do we leave? We're in that
Time
bubble.
flies.
Yeah. Well, just raising kids in a nice, safe environment's been it's been great for us. And trying to leave has been impossible. I think maybe that's why we've had maybe more kids, because being somewhere where we feel comfortable and safe has been a reason being able to make our family bigger.
So you arrived in Dubai with 2 kids.
Yeah, I had like a 4.5-year-old and an 18-month-old.
What does your husband do?
Well, at the time, he was working in finance. So he's kind of moved around and now gone into media, which he's seems to be good at and seems to be enjoying. So it's been nice for him, actually, to have a little bit of career progression. At the moment, he's actually studying for a master's. So he's...
And you met him...
I met him in the UK. We were just going out, having fun, clubbing and having fun. But we obviously just came together and we both thought we get married, have kids, and have lots of kids. Maybe we're on the same page with that one.
So how did your life progress, let's say, in your routine and also emotionally, from, let's say, the first 2 kids to having 4?
I have no idea, because having one, he was the most awful child.
Really?
And being pregnant for me is no fun because I'm really sick. So I have no idea where I found the grit to keep going and do it 4 times. However, after getting past him, knowing we wanted more, we went for a second one. But we was waited, like, let's wait until they're a bit more self-sufficient before we can go again. Because if you're going to do this, you need to be able to do it with your hands on and your brain in gear and be able to cope, more importantly. So then we had the second one, and then the Dubai whole thing came up. So we've ended up leaving and packing up and coming here. And then quite soon in,
whose decision was to come to Dubai?
It was more him, I guess. It was more of him. I didn't really want to leave. But once I got here and it was sunny, actually, it was easy. The sun got me. And then quite soon in, we said, let's have a third one. The kids were good. I enjoyed them. They were like fun. I really enjoyed them. So we went for a third one. And then, I don't know, we wasn't ready to close the book.
Was it easier with, let's say, okay, talking about your life with 3 kids?
Yeah.
Was
fun. It was
in
good.
Dubai?
In Dubai. Do you know what? My biggest thing is that the kids could come and just put some flip-flops on and a top and a pair of shorts, and we haven't got to worry about the whole getting dressed, getting out the door with the weather and in the car, and everything was such a rigmarole in the UK, getting kids ready. It's just to leave the house when you've got small kids on your own. So getting here, it was having little kids and just flicking some flip-flops on, getting to the pool. The kids loved it. Like, we really enjoyed that part.
That's actually true. Like, you're saying that basically who lives in a country like UK, where everything in terms of weather and
safety,
the tube and
grabbing
safety
the children,
looks
keeping them
different.
Close. Yeah.
Do you start appreciating what life looks like in the Emirates? Well, many people don't really want to live here in Dubai.
You're right.
Why?
I don't know. I'm so grateful. I'm so weird. That's the most. Whether your time comes to an end at some point and you know it's time to leave, I will always look back and say that was the right choice, raising kids in an environment where we all felt safe and they had that little bit of, I wouldn't say freedom in the sense to go off and do things, but just to feel safe and have a nice community of people where you don't feel vulnerable has been, I couldn't get that anywhere.
We already mentioned the fact that you haven't never had a nanny.
Yeah.
But is it a choice or is something that you've been forced to not to have?
I've been around a lot of people with lots of different types of help, so I've really watched what I see and what I like and what I don't like. I get it. I've been here long enough to understand why people have the help. There's lots of reasons and factors to that. I cannot have someone in the house while it's my house. And I don't want anyone watching over or going under me, or that's one thing. We can't have someone around us 24/7. And then the other thing is, I feel like it's my duty. I've chosen to stay home and be a stay-at-home mum. It's been a choice that we made together that I said I really wanted to do. This is something I want to do. You know, when I had my first one, I was working, I was managing a salon. I was enjoying that job, actually. I was doing well in that job.
Okay, so you were a beauty manager before.
I was a beautician, but I'd worked my way up.
How long ago?
When I was doing that, when I was 20. So I gave up work when I had him at 25, but I was managing that salon well, and I was enjoying it. It was a fun job. I didn't actually want to give up work, but I wanted to be a full-time mum. I was in that. What do I do?
And what do you think this makes a difference in terms of parenting in Dubai, not having a nanny?
Well, I think I've just set that intention that this is my job. This is my full-time job that I want the kids to see me doing all the work and the kids to understand that when they look back, what did mum do? Not just sit around
many
at
people,
home.
me included, look at you like staring at what you see, what you say, because I've lived this is the 10th year in Dubai, And I cannot even imagine not to have
Help.
help. Although I know that there's no substitution. You cannot really, have a person that takes care of the kids as you do. But I believe, from my perspective, if you don't have help, you easily lose yourself. So it's absolutely incredible, the fact that, we've had many conversations about, with this woman, we had many conversations about how she addressed different type of challenges in the daily life, starting from, your son or your daughter and different personalities and the school and parenting stuff. And she is always reminding the world, let's say, that she is there. She's not she's not at the second place or third place. She's not at the last place. She's always, you always look after yourself. Maybe not first, or I don't know, but I never felt that you would, how you say, like you put yourself aside.
You mean because I get up and I go to the gym, like I'll fix, you mean that how I carry myself?
Going to the gym is one aspect, but even in that case, it's not an obsession. No. It's something that we feel as friends, that you do it because you like this aspect of yourself.
Well, I do that for me. That is, you have to, right? Everyone has to. Whether you're working in a job or you're at home, doing something for you is important, isn't it? Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
And even though I'm stay at home, that I have to factor that in too. And that's about me and the children. Again, it's about me doing it for me. But I really like the kids to see me active, busy, trying to keep as active as I can.
What is your relationship with what is the most difficult one?
My middle daughter. It's girls, isn't it? Teenage daughters. They are the Achilles heel.
She will watch the podcast.
I couldn't tell her. Although I've got two daughters that are teenagers and the other one's proving difficult too. I think it's teenage daughters. I have three teenagers right now. That's why I am at home. People think, as they get older, they don't need you. They do need you. They need that
In which
space.
way? When they get older?
Like, picking up from school and that space to just talk about the day or how we're feeling or how we're going to juggle exams or making sure someone's watching over their screen time, what they're doing after school, how much study they're putting in. Are they eating properly? Are they creating healthy habits for themselves? Doing things at home,
do
helping out.
Do they create healthy habit for themselves by themselves?
No, that's what I'm working on it.
In which way?
It's
Tell us. Tell me.
So my daughter's doing exams, for instance. So we've talked about how are you going to be the best version of yourself for that exams is what I've discussed with her. So I've given tips on getting good sleep, whether it be less screen time, especially before bed, eating well. So she's now made a plan that she gets up at 5:30 on an exam day. She makes herself some good breakfast and then she does some more study and then she goes with the green juice to school. So just creating that, that she recognises that is better for you than getting up and grabbing a cereal bar and running out the door last minute. That she just, they're healthy habits, aren't they, that we should be learning.
What I, when you talk about the healthy habits and about being independent, let's say, remember we had a conversation once about letting them do mistakes, let's say affordable mistakes.
Yeah.
Remember when you were talking about, I don't know if it was Asia or another one, who left the bag and you let her forget the bag at school, and then there's the bag at home, and the bag was she was supposed to use for
cooking
swimming or something, and then she ended up having no swimwear after. So how do you take this parenting rule, let's say, of making them have or fall into affordable mistakes?
I guess it's like accountability, isn't it? Like teaching them accountability. Actions have consequences.
Yeah, you make it sound so easy. Yeah.
It's a work in progress, though, isn't it? Like I'm not perfect. I'm working on it all the time, and they're getting older and changing all the time. So I'm having to mould and change my eldest is 19. This is the first time parenting a 19-year-old, which for someone like you,
He's not in Dubai,
wow,
is he?
No. But for you, you're thinking, wow, like I can't imagine mine being 19, but you having to transition with them.
How was the transition to, because he's in the UK now, right?
Yeah, it's been difficult. It's still difficult, I think. I think we're living in a bit of a bubble where we're like really close and we're tight. Being apart is difficult. However, I'm still parenting, very much so. It's not over.
What do you do when he comes back, or what is the actual, I want to know really the transition. How did you do that? Like how, like, okay, bye. How did you cope with that?
I'm not coping, actually. I probably cry a lot still. And I still struggle. Like, he's not feeling good and he's not feeling very well, and I feel awful. And he rings me like, Dr. Mum, what do I do? What do I do? My eye hurts. And I'm trying to manage still being mum from so far.
You feel awful when why? Because he's away and you can't help him?
Yeah, especially when, like, for instance, last week he's had a bit of a wobble and he's homesick. And I obviously am always missing him. And that's always, it doesn't take much to trigger me, actually. I can just go, I could cry at any moment. So him getting upset for me is, I have to dig deep and change the subject and be like, right, you got a plan, you know where you're going, you know what you're trying to do, you know you've got to achieve, you know what you've got to do to get there. Let's focus on that. You'll be back soon. Let's live in the moment. And just trying to keep him on track is quite a challenge. But then I have to step away and then have my tears and keep going myself.
You know what? I would never, I kind of imagine that this podcast going a different way in terms of, you know, me asking you questions and you saying, oh, these things have to be done this way, this way, this way. But what it really is really coming up is the fact that you are vulnerable.
Oh, gosh,
although if I interview any of your children, they would say, no, mum is a super mom.
Oh, she's tough, yeah. That's what they would say.
Oh,
but I guess
sweet.
It's organic, isn't it? Like, parenting should be organic, shouldn't it? Everyone's different. Everything is different.
Tell me about your natural remedies.
Oh, we all know I like a natural remedy.
I like the garlic.
Yeah, I make.
Although I never tried so far.
Have you not?
Because I'm quite scared. No, because I can't rub garlic or onion at the back of the feet at night.
My son, this is where it is working, because obviously while he's at university, he's said someone was sick. So I just went and bought some garlic. I gave them the garlic. Mum, I told them to chew the garlic before bed. And then I've taken some just in case I get it. So it's working.
But how did you know that?
I don't know. I don't know. I follow loads of natural stuff and I'm really into...
Although it's not only... I mean, you prioritize natural stuff.
Yeah.
But you're not crazy for, obsessed for this. You're...
Well, there's a mix. I guess maybe that's my own journey of, like, maybe I've had some health stuff. So I think when you have some health stuff going on, maybe you go down a different route and then you see that it works and you think, oh, actually, I quite enjoy doing this.
So let's say your kid has a fever or cough.
Garlic.
What do you do?
Right, if you've got fever, you're going to have to chew a whole piece of garlic after food. Otherwise, you're going to burn your stomach. But if they're young kids, they won't chew that. So you're going to have to slice it up and put it on their feet and then wrap them in cling film, put some socks on and put them to bed. I guarantee it breaks the fever. It won't smell very nice. The room needs to be aired after. You should wash your bed sheets. But it will break the fever. And then you may have to do that for 3 nights. But I guarantee you whatever was manifesting won't go into a full-blown virus or cold. It will just taper away and it will come out. And I mean, the kids are funny because some are like, we don't really want to chew it. And I'm like, that's your choice. You do what you think. You know, whereas my son is like, he's a believer, this works. You're right.
No, but I believe kids believe what mum believes. Or
I don't know. I've got some strong-minded kids. I don't know. I mean, I'm tough. Well, I'm going to get tough kids too, aren't I?
Yeah, of course. And what about the others? The onion? The onion thing?
Onion. I'll do onion for cough. I'll heat up an onion in the oven and put it on the chest. Or you could put it over the ear.
But for what? In what case?
So if you're coughing, they're coughing,
okay.
You can put it on the chest. If they're coughing at night, you can slice it up and put it on the feet again and put a sock over it. if you've got an ear
Cough is
infection.
quite common in Dubai, isn't it?
So yeah, and actually
You can't always take antibiotic for that.
No.
So what would you suggest?
So
to a
I
mum
do slice up garlic and put on the feet, wrap it on the feet, put socks on and send them to bed is what I would do. And then put an onion next to the bed, cut it up and leave it in the, I mean, again, it doesn't smell nice, but you've just got to air the room after.
Do they accept it? The
Yeah.
onion?
My youngest son, he is like totally, mum is like a crazy doctor. She can fix me. It works.
I believe that what they think about you. Mum will fix me.
Yeah. But I've got to say they've been a lot less sick since that. Like I genuinely, if I didn't believe it, I wouldn't do it. And I don't believe in everything. Like I'll take things with a pinch of salt sometimes, but they definitely are less sick in general since I've been doing stuff like that.
Wow.
So I know a lot of people were thinking,
if they think mum will fix me, who will fix mum?
Yeah.
Provocative question.
Well, they won't know that, will they? They don't think like that. Me. Who else?
How do you fix yourself when do you struggle? What is the thing that makes you struggle so much?
Well, teenagers. This is the hardest part of parenting. I thought I've had 4 kids because I've loved the kids. I've loved raising the kids. It's been a joy. But maybe if people told you that you're going to end up with teenagers, a lot of them,
you would not.
Maybe you
wouldn't before.
Maybe not, because they have been definitely sent to test me. Like, yeah. And at my point of life, I'm hitting that perimenopause,
what is the worst part of a teenager?
and I've got teenagers at the same time.
Tell me one episode. What was the thing? I don't know because I've got small
teenagers
kids.
Yet. I guess it's the defiance. It's the worst one has got to be when you've got a 16-year-old thinking they know everything, and you're a 44, and you don't know, and they know more. Well, I would know because I've seen it.
How would
TikTok,
you respond to that?
Difficult. A lot of deep breathing, like taking a second. Sometimes I blow up, sometimes I don't. You have to walk away a lot and think about how I'm going to go back and deal with that again next time, because maybe the first time I didn't deal with it right. Maybe the second time I don't deal with it right. But I definitely always walk away from a discussion of thinking I need to keep trying new angles because some of them don't work. And they all need different parenting, right?
Absolutely.
Some of them you can go in harder than others.
I can't wait for this stage.
I'm gonna enjoy the little ones.
I'm going to talk to you.
Take me back to where I could just feed them some raisins on the sofa and they just sat there happily.
There was one topic that we talked about more than once, about how you feel when people consider you someone who doesn't work.
Yeah.
How about that?
This is a trigger, actually. I still struggle with that. And I find myself wanting to back away from that kind of discussion, maybe. But yeah, you're right. When I sit in, I've just met new people and then they say,
what do you do?
What do you do? And I feel offended, which is so silly because of course people are going to ask questions. And I feel like the answer often, if I say, I've got 4 kids, so I'm pretty busy. I stay home with them. And they're like, you either get the reaction of, 4 kids. Wow. Yeah, you are busy. Or, okay. And maybe that's a bit of judgment on their part. I don't know. But I definitely feel under scrutiny for staying home. And I have been at home for 19 years, which is wild to say that. But I do feel difficult with that one.
And do you think this is different compared to if someone will ask the same question in the UK?
See, in the UK, it's a given that everyone's gone back to work. So when I was in the UK, I was definitely the only person that didn't work. And I think there's a lot of disgruntled people don't like that because they were having to go back to work. Whereas this is a choice we'd made together that my husband was going to right, you stay home. This is right for us.
Yeah.
We agreed that. But a lot of them maybe would have liked to have stayed home and couldn't. So people necessarily don't like you for it.
Well, I guess is as long as you respect yourself, then in the end, doesn't matter what kind of, sense of guilt that you have because of they touch a weak, delicate topic.
Yeah.
But if you respect yourself, you get respected.
Yeah.
You receive respect either from your kids, your husband, and also from any from the environment in general. People are strangers or friends, or they dare to say things.
Yeah, it's difficult.
What do you think?
I think I would do it again. So I've done the right thing. And I stick by that. I've made that choice. I made the right choice. I know I have. Whether everything comes with trials and tribulations, whatever you do, whether I go to work and go and have a high-powered job, or whether I run my own business, whatever you do will always come with something, won't it? So I feel, I made the right choice.
And so since you're in Dubai, provocative question.
Yeah.
What is the difference between you and the Jumeirah Jane? Which, by the way, for those who don't know about the Jumeirah Jane, is a typical stereotype. Let's took this is a stereotype of a woman who has quite a good amount of money and doesn't work, has a beautiful life, is object of jealousy for many people.
Maybe we don't have loads of money. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why I'm not
tell me, what is the difference between you and Jumeirah Jane?
Oh, I do my own ironing, maybe. I do all the chores. I don't have help. I think that's the biggest part. When the kids were younger and I used to meet people would always introduce me, this is Jodie with 4 kids and no help. And I'd be like, do you have to keep introducing me as the no help, not having a maid? But that was how I was always introduced to people when they were young. And everyone just used to look at me and go, oh my God, what, you do all the chores? I'm like, yeah. Because
that's the shocking part, to be honest.
That's because where I'm from, in the UK, people don't have nannies or maids or might have an au pair, but you don't have all that kind of full-time help. So I think I've just tried to stick true to my values on that. And as well as I want the children to see me actually working at home. Whether that be the ironing, the cooking, the shopping.
Well, the shocking part is not the fact that you have all this ironing and cooking and washing and whatever. Is the fact that you are still looking after yourself, your life, your body, your mind.
Well, I'll try to raise 4 humans.
I guess that you have quite of a good rules in terms of technology. I mean, we live in a world now of AI, and I mean, Luca, my son, knows about AI and ChatGPT. Hi, ChatGPT. How do you cope with this? What are the rules in your family
when it comes to like devices in general?
I'm gonna take notes.
I'm a bit mean, actually. I've become more mean, I think, because I think they've got a bit out of hand. Averagely, phones and.
Do you agree with there are these apps where you can shut off?
See, my thing is maybe if you have to, but maybe you need to find some sense of control within your relationship.
Tell me about it.
So
because that's what makes a difference.
We're on a no screen, so they're not allowed to watch iPad stuff during the Monday to Thursday.
They are not.
Not anymore because we've got homework to do.
None of them.
They might say, like, after school, say, could I watch a bit of TV? And I'm like, yeah, go watch some telly if you've done everything you need to do.
How long for?
I don't know. It depends what we're doing that day. But I do like to do other stuff, like who wants to help me cook? Have you? My youngest, he's really up for doing chores. So I'll utilise that. Oh, could you get the washing at the washing machine? He's like, yeah. Could you help me come? Yeah, he wants to do stuff. So I could keep him busy. It's the older ones that are tricky. But they have phones. So I don't take the phones away. But they're not allowed to watch stuff during Monday to Thursday. In the weekend, I'm a lot more free. However, I still kind of have these like time scales that I put in. So like on a Friday after school, we come in, we get unloaded, we do all chores, and then they can have lunch, and then they can have some screen time for maybe a couple of hours in the afternoon. And then a Saturday morning, a Saturday afternoon, it's all very structured and it's all at the same sort of time. And I'm like, right, screen time's over, guys, put them away. And they just know, like, we've had a couple of hours, we've got to turn it off. I might argue a little bit, it might fight, but because I've set time scales in, like, you can go on for 2 hours at that time, it makes it, we're less likely to argue about it because that's the rules.
So if I ask you let's say the best hobby of your children, they would not go, for example, my son will say Rop Top, which is one of the things that he watched in YouTube and video games and stuff, for sure. Maybe it might be the age, but if you answer another answer,
When my youngest
would
would
it
say
be?
that, he'd want to go on devices. He's crazy for it. He's a struggle with it. But then my daughter, she loves puzzles, really loves puzzles. I've always loved doing puzzles when they were younger. So I used to really get them into puzzles. They actually quite like doing a puzzle, like a big puzzle. And if I said, let's get a table out and I'll sit with you and do a puzzle, the younger two would definitely jack in the screen and come do the puzzle with me if I was going to give my time. And
So if you do it,
yeah, that would
okay.
get, so on a Friday afternoon, if they were going, oh, what are we doing on Friday? Because I want to do this, want to do that because we finished school early. And if I say, after the chores, I'll sit with you and do a puzzle, they are in. Yeah. I guess it's something we've just created from a long time ago. This is something we've worked on to get to this point.
So you're saying you put yourself, you lead as an example.
Yeah.
So that it's easier for them to imitate.
And we do it together, don't we? So we're talking and we're having a bit of quality time together, which is tricky because I've got
Do you
chores
have
to
quality
do.
time with your husband?
My husband, yeah, because the kids go to bed at a reasonable time. So absolutely. We'll sit of an evening every evening when he's not studying.
And what about a weekend?
Yeah. Again, when they're allowed their screen time for a couple of hours, we're on our own. So we're having that time on our own. Yeah. No, I enjoy hanging out with him. We get on good, so.
And the meanwhile, you were talking, there was one thing that popped up in my mind was, I remember it was maybe your youngest when you basically were talking about how to educate a child, how to do not the chores, but, how to be more independent.
Yeah. Trying to create self-sufficient children.
Yeah.
I feel like that's my
What would it be
intention.
the ideal routine of a child, and starting from which age to do his own bed, or
Mine are all making their own beds and have done since I can remember in the morning.
I feel like shit already.
No, but not well. Like your house is probably like pristine. I'm not saying mine isn't tidy and clean because it is if you came in. But
not even.
I need to go over the beds and redo them, but they think they've done them. I'll just go over
What
them.
is the plus of having a child that knows how to do his own stuff?
Well, I guess what I'm trying to do is that when they leave, they're self-sufficient. So my son in university, he is more than capable. And I think he's one of the most capable out of his peers at university because he knows how to use the washing machine, sort his washing out, wash his bed sheets. He's cook. Like I feel like we've gone over this a lot. So he's quite good. And that's what your role is, isn't it? You're teachers. We're trying to create self-sufficient people.
Absolutely.
And that's
but tons of
doing.
books that run in social media, in YouTube, and Instagram, talking. But I mean, I'm not saying that they're not good. They're absolutely amazing. But I remember that once I was talking about, I'm not going to mention which book because it's an amazing book. It's from an amazing doctor. But you said, I can write that book because I do exactly the same thing. And I do believe that you do because the way you speak is exactly like how you really create pave the way, you create the path for a child to become self-sufficient, to be self-sufficient, and to be who, to face challenges that life throws at us.
You've got to start young.
You've got to
as young
start
as you can, as young as they're interested. Whether it be unloading the washing machine at 3 years old, I've got pictures actually. Of them unloading the dishwasher at like 3 or 2, helping me unload the dishwasher or unloading the washing. We started young, and we've just continued with all of them to like it's a bit of a military operation in my house, whether it be in the morning or after school.
Military operation.
Well, when there's 4 of them, I think you kind of have to look at it like that. So whether it be like, right, we're coming in from school, right, what is the plan? Everyone goes upstairs, everyone gets undressed. Everyone throws the uniform down, okay? So it all comes down because everyone knows mum wants to wash it. It's got to come off.
From which age they started changing their clothes, dressing, undressing by themselves?
Oh, as soon as possible. Yeah, when every time I had another child. So 3.
3. In Dubai.
Well, you have to make it fun.
No,
but it's about how you make it.
How
so
you make it fun.
Do you think you could put your sock on like I just did mine? I bet you can't do it in like 5 seconds. And then all of a sudden they're like, this is a challenge. And if you say it in a challenge, then kids are a bit more up for it. I think that's a lot of how we worked in the younger years, just making everything a bit. My kids are really competitive, so that helps, I think.
But do you think they are competitive because they are in the numerous
In a
family?
pack.
In a
'Cause there's
pack,
a lot.
exactly.
And because we are as parents, actually, you know, I'd be the one in the mum race. I want to win that mum race. Like, that's me. So I think we're quite like that as people. That definitely makes a difference. Yeah, we just get them in there early doing chores. And I think once you've got one or two doing it, the others want to follow. I want to be like them. So I'm going to do it because they're doing it. You know, if you watched my 9-year-old ask him to do chores, you'd laugh because he so wants to do it. Like it's not him going, oh, I don't want to do it. He's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Feels
I've
grown
been
up.
struggling a lot with 2 kids because I really tried. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but because Charlize is completely different compared to Luca, so I tried to give the same amount of whatever attention, love, and to one as well as the other one, you know, like the same thing. And my attention towards this sometimes make me fall into mistakes because this is not the point. Because you can double love, you can triple love, you can quadruple love. No need to pay too much attention. What do you think about that?
I think they all need different, don't they? And you have to navigate who needs what and how. So I know that my younger two like doing a puzzle, for instance, and my middle daughter, who's 13, that's a good time for me to talk to her. So I would definitely home in on that. If I see I'm going to make time for that, even if I'm too busy, I'll put the washing on the back burner and think she needs me that time. Or if my elder daughter is upstairs longer than I think's good, I'll go find her and go sit. Are you okay? What's going on at school? What have you been doing? And just start chatting. I think it's just finding what you think looking for moments that can fit in with you, and then knowing what you think your child needs and how they need it. Or I'm going to take one kid out today. It's your treat day. You've done really well at school. Me and you are going to go and get ice cream.
Do you find the time to give exclusive time to?
We used to do that a lot. We do it less. We used to do a bit one-on-one time at the weekend. So I would say, right, I'm going to take Asia to a coffee shop and we're going to have lunch.
How important is this for you?
I think less so these days. I think you need to read the room on that one. If you feel someone's lagging, someone's not themselves, or someone's acting badly, or someone's asking for help. Because often kids will ask, oh, I wish. And you have to listen and play on that. So we used to do a bit of one-on-one time.
But how about the trust? How about the trust? Yeah, the trust how you trust a child.
Trusting children. Oof, that's a good one.
Because you told me, you were just mentioning, if a child stays for too long time alone in her or his room, how do you address that subject? At some point, you just go and talk to her.
Doing what she should or she shouldn't be doing. Is that what you mean?
This is what came into my mind.
I think it's the foundations that we've built from a long time ago, where I think your own values project into the kids, isn't it? Discussions you have. I'm a huge fan of sitting at the table and talking at dinner time. We wait for my husband to come in from work and we have dinner, and that's a time when we really talk, and I ask lots of leading questions. And I would ask the question, what would you do in this situation? What would you do in that situation? And you get to find out what your children think on stuff.
Right.
If I could say anything, the best thing you could do is at a mealtime is sit and
My
talk.
kids don't sit in the middle time. It's complicated.
Okay, well then maybe you need to find a game. So a good game is, it's not age appropriate. I've got an atlas on the wall. I've got a map of the world. So we talk about countries quite a lot. So we might go around the alphabet on who can name me a country starting with A, or a city, or we'll do an animal. Animal's probably good for them. And you can do it in alphabetical order. So I'll start with A. What animal can I think of in A? Oh, you're B. Well, she can't think of B. Can you think of B? And then this keeps them at the table.
And do you trust all of them?
No, absolutely not. No, some need watching more than others. So my eldest child, absolutely yes. He's the eldest, he's the leader, he's the firstborn. A lot of pressure is put on that firstborn, I think, if we're going to look at like patterns of placement of children. He is he doesn't want to not please parents. That is definitely a first child thing. So you will find first children want to please, and he fits into that mold. I have to tell him often, it's okay. Don't have to. You're not leading the way. It's okay. My daughter is a stickler for. She reminds me of a younger me. So she wants to like.
She reminds you of a younger you.
Yeah, very conscientious.
Is it like a plus or a minus?
That swings in roundabouts. That one. Like sometimes I'm fighting with myself. That's quite hard. And other times I'm so proud that she's such a strong character, and she's really smart. But yeah,
do you have any other member of your family that you can rely on?
No,
from time to time.
No, and I don't think I ever did in the UK even. Although I had family, I wouldn't have dropped the kids off anywhere. I always thought they're just my responsibility. Or you know, if you're around someone and they say something to the kids, I think, oh, I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to teach them that. That was what. Could be anything. Could be about what you do at Christmas time or what you do with the tooth fairy. I don't want people to tell them stories. I want they be my stories because I have to continue that. And I don't necessarily agree with how you do that. So maybe I've always thought, oh, this is my job. I'm gonna lead this. So no. I don't want to help.
This is my role and I'm proud of it.
Even now, if people say, oh, can I take so-and-so home with me today? I think, oh, I don't want him to go to their house.
But if there was one thing that you could change in your education or in whatever, in your family, what would it be?
My current dynamic of what my family now, what would it be? What would I change? Absolutely nothing at the minute. Difficult.
What do you regret you haven't done?
No regrets.
Well, that's why you're my guest. Let's talk about success. So, what does success mean to you in this topic?
Role, in my job? This is my job. Yeah. So making self-sufficient children. That's my role. That's my goal.
Well.
That's what I'm working on.
And we touch different aspect of this, which is self-sufficient, meaning people who are capable to
go in the world without you. Isn't that so hard? That's so hard, though. You're raising someone who needs you so much
from day one,
and then you're raising them to not need you anymore. Isn't that's
scary?
Yeah. So really hard. And for you, having small children, that's all you can see. So that just seems crazy. But I'm obviously on the other side of letting them go. Letting them go. That's the hard part.
And then making them choose their own, making them do their own decision.
Yeah, which might not always be the right one. Yeah, and you've got to sit back and watch the consequences. Affordable mistakes. Yeah, a little bit of help along the way. Some influence somewhere.
What else would you say to a new mum?
What would I say? Strap in. Goodness me. I think you've got to parent with intention. You've got to know what you're doing. What's your goal? Where are you going with this? A lot of people just live day to day, just getting through the day, because kids are sometimes just about getting through the day. But I think if you set some intention on why you're doing something, what you want to achieve, what you want them to achieve out of life, have a little bit of a goal. And maybe that will make it a bit easier on the decisions that we make on how we're raising them.
So you say that this phase of when you have small kids...
It's fun.
Is fun.
The speech is funny.
You listen, you mums with the small kids, toddlers, fun.
Well, what they say is fun, right? The innocence of their brain, and you're teaching them, is fun. I think that is...
Yesterday she was screaming like crazy in the car. I couldn't even pick up a call.
Yeah.
Screaming because... Why? Because attention or just releasing because a long day, school, especially in Dubai.
Yeah. Letting it all out.
How about not having Daniel, which is Jodie's husband, maybe most of the times at home, like physically?
Like because this week. He's away this week in London.
How do you what do you say to your UK mums in the UK?
I don't know. You definitely have to toughen up a little bit when you're alone. And that's when I have to be like... two people. I just have to be a bit more strict and a bit more rigid. Although these days I'm trying to be more cool and chill because I've got teenagers who want me to be more cool and chill. Just structure and routine. That's, I think, the biggest part, whether they're young or older. If we have a bit of a structure and routine and then sometimes go wild and go off of it because then they think you're great, that's what keeps us on track when we're alone.
But how do you keep your rules in place without getting them?
They've just been there since forever, haven't they? I think that's the key, isn't it? You've got to create them from the beginning. And then they kind of, as they get older, it kind of, everyone follows. Like,
what is the key rule that you regret you haven't put? There must be some.
Oh, giving them a phone. Wish I'd never given them a phone. I hate the phones. I don't think we can get away from them. They are the bane of my life. The phone.
And what is the minus of being in Dubai? Like the downside? Is there a downside?
There is. As they get older and teenagers, there's a little bit lacking in opportunity to be independent. So whether it be getting a job, like we would have when we were younger at 16, we would have got a job and we would have earned money and a responsibility. They don't have that opportunity.
So you think that at 16, they just have to find a way to get a job and maybe still living in with you, but, you know, trying to understand.
And just, they're a bit privileged here, aren't they? Getting a taxi if you want to go around, get driven around and taxis and help, and there's too much of that.
And what about the going out and getting in trouble?
Not really.
What about that?
I'm a bit,
Is it different? Is it different here?
Yeah, I think we're doing that. We're letting them out, for me, a lot later in age-wise. I'm not really letting mine go hanging anywhere here or there. They can go to the mall.
Let's say your daughter or your son wants to go to a party, house party.
Probably not. I'm probably going to say no.
I remember we had a conversation with a friend, and she said she was desperate because her 16 years old teenager was like, oh, we're going to throw a party at our place, and 25 teenagers with lots of, I don't know,
stuff
going on. And she was desperate.
So I probably would say no. And if I was talked into it, my daughter's quite good at doing presentations.
What do you mean probably you will say no? Like you've never been asked?
Yeah, probably when she was, my daughter asked when she was a bit younger for a party. I did let her go. It was quite tame. I did drop, pick up, and I maybe were a bit more restricted with the hours. So if they said the party was from 7 till 10, I'm probably going to pick you up at 9. Is what I probably would do. I'd be a bit more rigid like that.
Right. And your son? He didn't really do that.
Maybe it's the friendships they've had. I'm not really sure, but they weren't crazy. But I've been quite lucky in that sense that they're not going off out doing crazy stuff. Like no, but then maybe I just wouldn't have allowed it either.
Right.
Okay. I'm quite strict.
But what are the 3 most important rules that are winning rules for parenting in Dubai?
In Dubai.
That you've experienced of?
What was my rules? Kids need to help out at home. I think you need to hold them accountable for their mistakes. And
number 1.
Yeah. I think giving them some real quality time, one-on-one, or just homing in. Don't check out. Keep on them.
You were talking about establishing a good trust, but without asking or telling them or imposing.
Being firm but fair. That's my motto. Firm but fair.
Firm but fair. We're going to take notes. Guys, it's been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much, Jodie. I mean, as you can see, guys, it's real. And when I talk about, successful stories and successful, let's say, mindset, is not what you see in social media, because what you see in social media is not the real step-by-step guide. So when we talk in between the lines, we really talk about what life of, in this case, of Jodie looks like and how successful you can be. So subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Thank you, Jodie.
Thank you.